Okay, sentence construction 1, the second part. We've previously looked at relative pronouns in defining clauses, and you know that we can have who, whom, which, that, whose, and where. We use relative pronouns when we're linking together perhaps two sentences or phrases. For example, here I have two sentences. This is the man who stole my wallet. Linking those phrases together, I get this is the man who stole my wallet. Alternatively, this is the man that stole my wallet. So I'm defining who the man is. We use relative pronouns to introduce either a defining or non-defining clause. As I just said, a defining clause adds extra, essential, important information. It helps you to identify who or what the person or thing is. For example, here, the man who or that was wearing the black jacket. My question is, which man? The man who was wearing the black jacket. It's defining, it's identifying who the man was. Defining clauses, the relative pronouns we have, when we're talking about a subject, if it's a person, you can use who or that. An animal or thing, which or that. A place, where. Complement, you can use who, whom, or that for person. Animals and things, we use which and that. Shown possession, we use whose for both people and for animals and things. Whom now is considered very formal and it's not really used. You will find it in some formal documents or in formal situations, perhaps, maybe in court, in a court case, but it's not really used by the ordinary public, by the general person. As I said, who refers to a person. It replaces he, she, him, her, they, them. Which refers to an animal or thing. In this case, it replaces it, they, or them. That is a coverall, and it can refer to either a person, animal, or thing. Other examples. Those are the boys, they vandalized the school. Those are the boys who vandalized the school. I'm defining who the boys were using who or that to say they are the boys that vandalized the school. Another example. This is the shirt, I bought it for James. Two sentences. Linking those using a relative pronoun, I can get this is the shirt which I bought for James. Direct and indirect objects. Some verbs can have two constructions. In this case here, I have a construction, a verb plus an indirect object and a direct object. So, give the cat its milk. I could also say, in this case here, using the construction verb direct object, indirect object, give that milk to me. Generally, we use the second form, the direct object plus indirect object, with to and for. So I offered a drink to Tom. I have the direct object first, plus the preposition to in this case, and then the indirect object. When the direct object is a personal pronoun, then the construction verb, direct object, indirect object, this must be used. So I need to say, this is a nice story, read it to the children. I cannot say, this is a nice story, read the children it. it doesn't work. Obviously, I understand, but it doesn't work in English. It's incorrect. Certain verbs are followed by an indirect object or a direct object plus two. These include bring, offer, read, send, take, write. Unfortunately, you'll have to study these. There's no real rule for them. Also, in this case, here we're using for, so these ones are followed by direct object or direct object plus for. In this case, I have book, cook, find, leave, etc. Once again, you need to study them. Some verbs, for example here, ask, cost, or wish, only have one construction. That construction is verb, indirect object, direct object. So the example is, the examiner asked me some questions. I have construction verb, indirect object, direct object. I cannot say, the examiner asked some difficult questions to me. It doesn't work. So please be careful in this construction. Auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs work basically in the same way as they do in Italian. In this case here, I'm looking at the auxiliaries be, have, and the modals. So I have the subject, I, the auxiliary, and the main verb. So I am going home. They have finished their work, present perfect. Modal verb, you mustn't be late. So construction is the auxiliary plus the main verb. Questions and negatives, okay? Where be, have, and the modals are not present, in this case, you will need to use the auxiliary do or does. Again, some simple examples for you. Where do you live? We have the auxiliary first, followed by the subject you, plus the main verb, the infinitive. Does James ski? They didn't have breakfast. In this case, past simple, but I'm still using the auxiliary to do in the past. So, neither nor. We use so and neither to confirm or to give confirmation. I'm cold, affirmative. The other person is confirming or agreeing, so am I. Construction is so plus the auxiliary plus the subject. I'm not interested. In this case, it's a negative example. In this case, I would need to use neither. Neither am I. I'm agreeing what the other person is saying. So in this case, this construction neither nor, auxiliary plus the subject. Continue to look at so, neither, and nor. When there's no auxiliary, we use so, neither, plus the auxiliary do, does, or did. For example here, I hate smoking. Hate, when you conjugate in the negative or to make a question, needs the auxiliary do. So the confirmation would be, so do I. Second example, he lives near here. Present simple, third person. So the auxiliary do needs to be does, third person, present simple. If you want to replace one or both of the personal pronouns, a noun can be used. Okay. I didn't like the film. Neither did my wife. In this case, I'm replacing with my wife. Latvia and Estonia are Baltic states. So is Lithuania. Again, confirming that Lithuania is one of the Baltic states using a noun. We so after these verbs: hope, think, suppose, guess, expect, be afraid. Unfortunately, you will have to learn these. Will they meet us at the airport? I hope so. Spero di sì. Negatives. Negative forms of so we use with hope, think, suppose, guess, I expect, be afraid. So you would say, I hope not, I'm afraid not, I guess not, I don't think so, I don't expect so, I don't suppose so. Negative forms of so. Okay, and that completes the second part of sentence construction, part 1.